It's time for a cup of coffee with Will and Chris at Slumberland Furniture. From Slumberland Furniture in Osage Beach, here are your hosts, William Holtz and Chris Schneider.
And we're back this week again for another cup of coffee from Slumberland at the Lake. I'm Wild Will.
I'm Uncle Chris.
And a great show this week for you. First, we got a special guest in studio, Michelle Leeman from LOZ Premier Properties, going to be joining us here in this week's show. The brand new show coming to Lake TV this summer, so excited to tell you about that. Plus, Chris, we have got some exciting things going on. We're wearing blue.
That's right, baby. This is beautiful.
Yeah, we're going blue the entire month of April as it is Children Abuse Prevention Month with Kids Harbor. They got a ton of stuff going on this month. We'll tell you about all that. Plus, in our local headlines, we have election results.
Yeah.
Some real surprises. We'll tell you about that. Reese Development, Nichols Apartments, and of course, I heard the Chiefs and Royals might be leaving Kansas City.
Wow, that is shocking. You're going to be interested in that story.
All of that and a whole lot more, but first, we wanted to tell you about Kids Harbor.
Yeah.
Chris, you notice the blue shirts, you see the big barbecue bash sign. Well, April, as we told you, is Child Abuse Prevention Month, and Kids Harbor are going all out. First, last Tuesday, April 2nd, they had a proclamation with the city of Camdenton, Mayor John McNabb. See some video there, really cool. They followed that up with Thursday afternoon with a proclamation with the Camden County Commission Thursday on the 4th. And then Tuesday of this week, they had a proclamation with the city of Lake Ozarks as well as the village of Sunrise Beach. So they're joining with a lot of the municipalities to hopefully limit and reduce child abuse in our local areas. But man, they got a ton else going on this month. I went to Nick's True Hardware yesterday, and they've got a really cool bike raffle, right? So this Cannondale Neo Adventure all-road e-bike. Now, e-bikes are in anymore. You notice that?
Yeah, I mean, even like if you go to Surdike, Greg Surdike was saying that he's got them over there, right?
E-bikes are now in. And so listen, this drawing is not going to be held until May 20th, but here's an opportunity to get a $1,700 retail e-bike. Tickets are $10 a piece or 3 for $20. You can buy those at Nick's Hardware by reaching out to Kids Harbor, but that's not it. We have a luncheon at the church at Osage Hills in a couple of weeks. Well, Thursday, April 24th. You're invited to join. 11:30 doors open. The luncheon is from 12 to 1. Free lunch. You just need to RSVP. And that's always a really cool event. You typically hear from somebody who has been directly impacted or has been a victim of one of these crimes, and they get to talk about the importance of preventing, educating, and spreading awareness. And so a really cool event. And all of this kind of leads up to the annual barbecue bash at high tide. Now, you and I are in for that, right? Because barbecue competition.
I'm on a diet. If I go there, I'm blowing my diet.
And I'm going to try it, okay? What that means, you put it in front of me, I'm going to try it. I'll be judging the barbecue competition. And I've heard from some of the contestants, they're all talking about their epic plans. And so for the barbecue bash at high tide on April 27th, really cool event. The competition is going to start about noon with the different people. They come and they enter the challenge. They do their best barbecue, their best smoked meats, their ribs, their brisket, their burn-ins, whatever it is they decide to go with. And then it's a big competition, and they name a prize. That's a big, literally, that's a big bragging rights thing for the locals that have participated in this the last
barbecue,
couple of years.
Yeah.
Is so, not just that, but they're going to start serving to the people who are there participating at 1, and then food will be available until 5 or until it runs out.
Wow.
But also the eyeberries will be on hand. There's going to be a live and silent auction, and High Tide's a great place. So right there with Redhead's Lakeside Grill and Osage Beach. Again, food's going to be from 1 to 5. Tickets are just $20 in advance, and if you wait till, like a lot of us, till the day of the event, you can still get those at the door for $25. All encompassing for the month of April as we support Kids Harbor for Child Abuse Prevention Month. And as you notice these blue shirts, Chris, I'll turn around and let them see. You can read this for me. I love the quote.
So the quote says, people start to heal the moment they feel heard, right?
Cheryl Robinson.
That's beautiful.
And big shout out to...
Your back's so big, that made it easy to read.
Should we start renting out billboard space on this baby back here? So listen, Uncle Chris, myself, and the entire Lake TV crew are so excited to go blue in the month of April as we stand with our partners at Kids Harbor to reduce and ultimately prevent child abuse from taking place here in the lake area. Big shout out to Karen Gerdeman, David Ship, their entire staff. They do so much for so many, and it really is the most vulnerable amongst us, Chris, who need that assistance. And without Kids Harbor, there'd be a lot more tragedies, a lot more that go without healing, without a solution. And so we're just so thankful to partner with them and the efforts they continue to pour into our community. Now, we're going to be right back after this message from Slumberland. We promised you we're going to have Michelle Leeman. You're not going to want to miss this. She's dynamic, she's fun, and she's going to bring a lot of excitement to the Lake TV airways this summer.
Hey everybody, Daryl Cunningham with Slumberland Furniture at the Lake. I don't know if you're like me, but springtime, I want to be working outside. And when I come inside, I need a good night's rest. You need to come check out our Purple mattresses, Tempur-Pedics, Stearns & Foster, and Sealy Posturepedics. All of these mattresses qualify for 0% interest for up to 60 months. And don't forget, we do white glove delivery for the entire lake area. Come see us at Slumberland Furniture, where we're bringing happy home.
And make sure you tell them that Wild Will and Uncle Chris sent you when you stop by here at Slumberland at the lake. And as promised, Michelle Leeman joins us, and she also got the Go Blue in April for Kids Harbor memo.
Absolutely.
So I was glad I didn't have to prompt you.
No. Love Blue, and what a great thing to sponsor and advocate for.
Yeah, Kids Harbor. We're so thankful for the work they do, and we're excited and thankful for the work you do here with Lake TV. There's a new show coming summer of 24, right around the corner. LOZ Premier Properties, a weekly real estate show right here on Lake TV. And Michelle, you're co-producing, you're hosting this weekly 30-minute show. And so for you, I want to kind of hear your Lake of the Ozarks story in a nutshell.
I think it falls in line with probably anybody that has not grown up at the lake, fell in love with the lake. Mine started at a very young age. Always wanted to be one of the dock gas girls growing up. And so I've owned a house here since before I bought my first house. And I love the lake. I love the fact that it speaks to everybody. That is really, really cool. And so met you through the doc series. And
Wild enough, right?
Yeah.
We feature your doc.
Yep.
And you've got some experience in TV, which we'll touch on in a minute. But people were contacting you and they're like, man, I saw your doc on TV, but it wasn't just here at the lake. It was all over.
All over. No, it was back home. I'm from Washington. And I was like, we're watching Lake TV. It was on there. Yes. And they're like, oh, the doc series is one of the best series I've ever seen. Love watching that. Got me even more interested in what you guys do. And I've really been just addicted and following you guys ever since.
And you're no stranger to media, to TV. You were involved with the American Dream TV project on HGTV. And so you bring a lot of experience to Lake TV. Touch on that.
I'm a curious cat, and found out about American Dream TV, talked with their producers, and just, again, really love the ability to speak to the community and bring awareness to all of the niche and unique aspects of our local communities. Yeah. So I got involved with that. We did that for about a year and a half, and they started the local Lake of the Ozarks 80 TV show, Selling the Ozarks, and was part of introducing that into the area, and just loved that aspect and being involved. And then after meeting you, had the opportunity to come back in. We do some local podcasts back at home in Washington. So different. It's usually not in set. So I do like that aspect. Yeah. It's laid back, a conversation, just showcasing our properties and our realtors and the great businesses in the community that support us too.
Sure. It is. So for people that are wondering, what is LOZ Properties? A two-part question. First, how the boom in Lake of the Ozarks real estate plays into this project and what viewers can expect.
Well, we tout that there's more shoreline than the state of California.
Which is true, right? Yeah.
Which is true. And so the amount of real estate is massive and hard for a lot of people to even fathom.
Yeah.
So, there's anywhere from 75 to 90 new listings a week. I think there were over 20 open houses just last weekend.
That's insane.
It is insane. It's massive. And the notoriety that the lake is getting and has been getting ever since Ozark, the Netflix series started. It was really, I feel like, when the notoriety began.
Oh, yeah.
And then expanding from that to let people know that's not really our reality. And the price points out here. So, being able to take some of our top real estate listings and showcase those more nationally for people to see, I'm really excited about.
And so every single week, it'll be a 30-minute show with room to grow, should it need that. But you're going to see some of the premier listings that are currently on the market at Lake of the Ozarks, but you're also going to have some guests and some experts you're going to talk with. So just talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we'll have, we do a 30-minute show. We'll have 4 realtors each week. It will run Saturday to Sunday. So we keep it fresh. We keep it the top listings. And then we also have, like we said earlier, or I said earlier, we're going to spotlight some of our businesses. So businesses had the ability to sponsor the show, and then we're giving them the ability to come on and have a guest interview with me. Yeah. So we can talk about why they're special and why they're unique and why people should shop there as well. And then, with the opportunity, if it opens up, we've got some then and now segments that kind of talk about the growth of the real estate and just the lake itself. Topsider condominiums wasn't Topsider condominiums 15 years ago.
Right.
I think you guys are going to touch on a big piece of real estate that just changed later in the show. So just talk the growth, just talking about the constant growth that we fall within.
And the cool thing is, listen, this is ground level. Project is just in the infant stages. And so some cool opportunities. Everyone wants to be part of something new. And you mentioned only 4 realtors a week. There's only a couple sponsorship spots left. And you guys are running with us some really good specials. And so for those out there that are like, hey, I just want to know more. Maybe it does work for us. Maybe we could find a way to sponsor it. How can they reach out or connect with you to take the next step?
Well, the best way is just to call me or shoot me a text. My cell, shooting it out there for everybody, 314-808-3170. It's community, it's local. We can figure out something to make it fit. And then, or email me at michelle@mylaketv.com.
Super. And then
we'll
listen,
get you guys set up.
the cool thing is you've already got a couple of partners now. Slumberland of the Lake. It's the second show that'll be hosted right from here, of course. And then big shout out to Matt Shrimp, who is the first realtor to come on board. Really excited about that. And then Lake Days with Pam. I mean, we're excited about them.
Yes, Pam is actually my property manager and one of the reasons we met. Right. And so it was a no-brainer. Super excited to have both of them on board and then be here at Slumberland. We do have a Facebook page too, LOZ Premier Properties. We did a concept shoot, so you guys can go on there and see what that looks like. Just share the news, and we're excited.
Yeah, we're excited. And we're really excited to see what it looks like finished when we get this on the airways. It's Michelle Leeman with LOZ Premier Properties coming to Lake TV summer of 2024. We appreciate your time, Michelle, and looking so forward to this.
Well, I appreciate you, and I'm super excited to be in this project with you guys.
And we got to give a shout out to Megan Albers, who is
amazing.
Producing, directing with you, and Spencer Wall, who will be handling all the post-production. Just really great team we're excited about. And before we go, listen, I want to tell you guys about an upcoming fishing tournament to celebrate veterans, all funding going to it. And as much as I'd love to tell you, instead of that, just watch this.
It's time for the 3rd annual Veterans Bass Fishing Tournament. Sunday, April 28th, try your luck for the biggest bass, or heck, maybe even win the whole darn thing. Don't miss this 3rd annual event, including an awards dinner at the Dragonfly Hall in Gravois Mills. Hosted by Morgan County Business District, the Heroes Outreach Program, and Show Me Tournaments. And sponsored by Central Bank, Lake of the Ozarks, and OK Fishing Tackle. For more information, call Brian at the number on your screen.
As we welcome you back, that Veterans Day, or that Veterans Fishing Tournament in Gravois coming up in a couple of weekends or next weekend. That's going to be a good one. You're going to want to participate. And as we move ahead, some local stories. I want to start with the local election. We read last week's Cup of Coffee on Tuesday. That was voting day, so we didn't know the results. And, Chris, as I looked at Camden County is what we're going to focus on, the larger of the 3 counties. First thing that stood out to me was the voter turnout.
Pretty low, right? Pretty disappointing, pretty sad. Especially at this, day and time in our country with the struggles we're going through and everybody's moaning and groaning and bitching and complaining. but you don't have enough energy to go out and vote,
Right.
then you have no right to complain. I mean, that really just disgusts me, that people will complain all day long, but then they won't get their butt off the couch and go vote. That just is crazy to me.
Yeah, I kind of took it personal that we didn't educate, we didn't promote enough going into this election. In Camden County, 29,948 registered voters, just 3,086 votes were casted, which equated to 10.3% voter turnout. And in some of these races, Chris, in particular that I saw, like the Lynn Creek mayor, you mean to tell me there was only one candidate, Mayor Jeff Davis, but 4 votes
You heard that right.
decide that.
Yeah.
All of Lynn Creek is in Camden County, meaning 4 of the residents in Lynn Creek decide who their mayor is. That to me is crazy. Or Camdenton Alderman, Ward 3, Steve Eden was beaten by Don Newhart. Don got 19 votes and Steve got 18. 37 votes casted. That is how little turnout, and that's how important your vote is here locally.
Yeah.
One of the people that was going to vote for Steve potentially, Eden, they didn't get to the poll because they got caught up at work later. They decided not to. They do get to the poll. We're in a deadlock tie. One vote literally changes it. I looked at the Village of Sunrise Beach, and their alderman race was decided by 1 vote for Steve Barthel. The person that lost him was 1 vote less. And so the voter turnout for me is shocking that in some of these smaller municipalities, so few people actually decide.
Yeah, it is amazing that you can be the mayor of a town right here in the area and you get 4 votes, right? That's all it takes. Not to say that, he's a good mayor or bad mayor or whatever, but 4 votes? Come on, people, that's crazy. 10% of the turnout, again, our country is struggling. It's in big, deep trouble. Why is it in big, deep trouble? Because good people won't go out and vote.
And we can't blame anybody. When I look at the 3 municipalities, our Tri-County area, Miller County, Morgan County, and Camden County, they make it overly abundantly easy for you. It is so user-friendly on their website. You can see, as we've been telling you, you can see the sample ballot. You can find your voter precinct. You can find out if you're registered. They'll even take your call and talk you through the process. There's no excuse. And so Uncle Chris and I and the Lake TV team have kind of taken it personally, and we're vowing to work with Roland Todd, Camden County clerk, to raise voter turnout come August, because that is equally as important of an election, if not as important. But one thing before we move past the election, we talked about surprises. I was really surprised, however you feel about Gail Griswold, that with the body of work that she's had in the last 2 years and the changes, the growth that the Camden County School District has seen under her leadership, that she got voted out. Michael Brandon Gullidge, he had 988 votes for 34.26. Brian Butts, the sitting member, 956 votes to finish second. And Gail Griswold, 940 votes. Everyone had 32.5% or more. But that means former president of Camden County School Board, Gail Griswold, is no longer in the near future part of the Camdenton School District, and they'll have to vote for a new president. So it's interesting to see. I don't know anything about Michael Brandon Gullidge. I don't have anything bad to say about him. I was just surprised, knowing the body of work that Gail Griswold has had the last 2 years. That, in my opinion, was more than enough to receive an abundance of votes time and time again. But that wasn't the thing, and that was a surprise to me. Was there any other things that stood out to you were like, man, that is crazy?
No, the 2 things that really stood out to me was the disappointment in the voter turnout, very disappointed. And then I was too very surprised that Griswold lost that. But, you got to give this Michael Brandon Gullidge credit. He got his people motivated and he got them out to vote. And he got the most votes of those 3 candidates. So in this election, he and his people were more motivated. If you remember 2 years ago, Griswold and her people were very motivated. I mean, everybody heard about her, everybody knew about her, and she got a lot of votes. I don't think she put in as much time and effort this time, and it kind of backfired on her.
That's what I was going to say. Does it look like the grouping that surrounds that leadership change and that has been so vocal, you feel like maybe they fell asleep at the wheel, just, kind of take it for granted? People things are going well, so it's election time, and I did not, like you said, I didn't see the same level of effort, and kind of surprising. But I do want to congratulate Michael Golich. Like you said, apparently he's local, he's got a lot of support, and I'm confident and hopeful that they stay down the same path, the right path, or at least similar path, because just because your pilot, you know, the guy that you want to be president doesn't win, doesn't mean you root for the demise of the country, just like you wouldn't root for the demise of Camden County School District. You wouldn't root for your pilot to be bad.
No, absolutely. So don't know anything about Mr. Gulich. Hopefully he's a great guy, great, person on the board. We'll find out, so we'll get another 2 years to see what's going on there.
So as we look ahead, we've kept you posted on Reese Development, trying to figure out, I promised you last week, hey, I'm going to tell you what Reese Development and their ownership group, they're giving me the exclusive. They're telling me what they're going to bring to the Strip. Well, I talked to them last week, and I was very surprised. I was very impressed with how genuine they seemed. I've got a editorial that'll be coming out this week.
Okay.
Actually, should publish before this actually comes out. It's a breakdown. It just kind of tells you everything from the grant that they're currently applying through for the city of Lake Ozark to help with the demolition. It talks about the things that are important to them, because we're not just talking about one destination on the Strip, I've learned. It's not just like an oasis or a arcade. They're talking about the future of the city of Lake Ozark, and they're interested in improving roads and working with the city and infrastructure and development. And so I'm learning it's a very long play. This is what I understand for Nick Reese, who I really like him on our initial encounters. This is a legacy project for him, and he is very important to him as he grew up coming to the Strip. Him and his wife, who are expecting their first child, they actually moved on the Bagnell Dam Strip about a year ago, so he's local now, and he has memories like so many of us coming to the iconic Bagnell Dam Strip as a kid, and he said, listen, keeping the nostalgia intact and paying tribute to that is super important. And he also said thank you to the locals for your input, your advice, your recommendations, because that is important to our group. And so I found him to be very genuine. I don't think this is about profit. This is something for Nick Reese, that legacy. When I say that, I'm thinking that his kids and grandkids will get to see the fruits of their labor, their investments, their hard work for the community. And so on my initial reaction, I am really fired up about what they're doing. And I'll have more in this editorial.
Yeah, he kind of has confided in you what the long-term plan is, what he's got in mind and everything. So that's cool. That's really interesting.
He also teased on what you can read in that editorial. Some of the stuff they're planning to do immediately with some of the signage and some of the iconic things where you're like, what's going to happen there? And so they've got some plans, and they're sparing no expense. And the things that you've been asking for, I think you're going to be surprised when you see some of those might actually come to fruition. Of course, you can check that story out on my William Holtz Lake TV Facebook page. It's an editorial written. We're going to take a stab at writing articles as well. So, all right. They did announce on Lake Expo this week that they already started the demolition of the Feast Real Estate building.
Yeah.
You see that?
I did, and that was before my time, so I didn't know what that building was.
Before you were at the lake, let's be clear.
Yeah, recognizable A-frame structure was torn down on Monday, April 8th, part of the renovations they're doing down there and raising some of these properties. And as someone who grew up spending summers on the Strip in the 90s, rest assured, we will be saving any important nostalgia, Nick Reese said. So like what you just said, he has got that in mind. He's not just going in there to blow it up and forget history. He wants to remember all of that.
Yeah.
So they've torn down a lot of stuff already. The Rebel Arcade, the batting cages, those old buildings along the Strip, Two-Bit Town.
Yeah.
I think they're all down, and there's more coming with that over the next. Well, I think they're planning more for next year too, right?
Yeah, this is not just right now they're going to tear some stuff down and you're going to see something built immediately. We're talking 15, 20 years of growth and investment, and you'll see lots happen from my understanding. Now, I thought it was cool in Lake Expo's article. They brought up Russell Burdett, good friend of Lake TV's. He owns Your Lake Vacation, and he actually said his mother worked in the office in the 70s when Feast was a big name on the Strip. Don Feast owned a significant portion of the tourist-focused businesses, and they actually said he owned all of Two-Bit Town, the Rebel Arcade, the batting cages, and all the buildings that were along the Strip that got torn down already, which is cool because you think of those iconic areas, and that Feast, not Reese, the Feast Real Estate building was actually one of the iconic leaders of development and tourism on the Strip. And so their building getting torn down is almost like a turning of the guard, kind of significant and symbolic in my opinion. So I thought that was cool, and I'll be excited to keep you guys posted and to follow that because, again, Chris, I don't feel like these guys are just about the money. I'm sure they want to make money, but I also feel like they really want this to be part of their legacy, part of their forever plans, and they really care about this community.
So they do have plans for these, these lots that they're cleaning up right now. But in the interim, they say they plan to use the sites for special events, concerts, vendor villages, extra parking, and family-friendly events like carnivals and stuff. So that's in the short term, and then they've got plans, permanent plans for it long term.
Hey, and I'll ask a favor. For those of you that watch us regularly, you know that we are the first to investigate, ask questions, and try to get to know developers and what their plans are. And we're not always the easiest, and we ask hard questions, but I will tell you, or I will ask you at least, bear with the Reese Development Group. Give them a chance because I really do feel like they have the long-term interest in not just the Bagnell Dam Strip, I'm talking about the entire city of Lake Ozarks. So bear with them, we'll keep you posted there. And in other development news, the Nichols Apartments, we wanted to know last week, I told you we'd talk with Jeff Tegedoff, the developer, and he kind of put me off, right? He said, hey, we were supposed to talk Thursday morning. He's like, I got to wait till the 24th. And I was like, I understand some things happen. I was like, look, I came out to the property on Tuesday. I posted this reel. I promised our viewers that we were going to update them. And so he's like, okay, it's back on. And so I was like, well, that's good enough. I'll share that. And then I went back again this morning, Tuesday morning, the day of recording, and there were trucks, there were Bobcats, there were materials there, and it absolutely looked like with the gates open and all the movement that construction is back underway. I'm not sure the details or the totality of those details, but the 24th, I'm hoping, bearing any more delays, he's not only going to update us on the exact of that and making that right with our local contractors, but he's also going to give us an update on the timeshares at Lakewood Resort, which we've been waiting on. And is Oasis going to happen? What does that mean? So much to come. And you can, of course, plug into Lake TV on Facebook or William Holtz Lake TV, my Facebook page, as we give you updates. Because, man, sometimes it's hard with a weekly show, right? We read a story on Tuesday, you watch it on Thursday, and there's been 3 or 4 updates by that time. And so we've had some demand to go more than once a week, and where we can't do that at this point, we will do updates throughout the week on our other platforms. So we try to give you guys updates. Now, before we go this week, I thought it was worth mentioning, after 3 Super Bowl championships in the last 5 years, you saw the vote, right? Yeah. The 3/8% tax in the metropolitan Kansas City area to help the Clark family and the Royals family fund their new stadium projects. Yeah. Well, apparently the vote did not pass, and the Royals owner says we're done in Kansas City. Yeah, so tell us more. Marnie Sherman, the wife of the Royals owner John Sherman, says their Major League Baseball team and the NFL's Chiefs are through with Kansas City. This is the wife of the Royals owner. She says we're through with Kansas City, Missouri, after that vote failed. She also said once all is said and done, the best area residents there in Kansas City can hope for is that they will only move to the Kansas side of Kansas City and not to some other city. Because there are some other cities now like Dallas and probably St. Louis, I think, and over there in Kansas, trying to get the Chiefs and Royals to move over there. So this could be a major, major issue. Can you imagine if the Chiefs moved out of Kansas City? Well, so here's what I'll say. I understand the economic impact that, especially the Chiefs. The Royals, I kind of feel like Marnie Sherman is riding on the coattails of the Chiefs. Because Kansas City's like, sure, take the Royals. Yeah. That's fine. But the Chiefs, they don't want to leave. And it's hard for me to emphasize with a multi-billionaire complaining about the locals who have literally funded and made their life what it is by supporting their teams, complain about them not giving them money to build a stadium. So it's interesting, but I do not think the Chiefs will ever leave Kansas City. I think let's hope so anyway, right? I don't think it's going to happen. They started out in Dallas. They moved to Kansas City from Dallas. And the powers that be in Fort Worth and Dallas are literally saying, welcome home, let's start another franchise. And I was explaining, I was like, look, you could fit Kansas City in the Fort Worth area 6 times. They have room for a lot more pro sports teams. Yeah. Interesting. We'll keep you posted on that. Hey, don't miss Dr. Elizabeth Bowman from COMC on this week's Community Spotlight Show with Uncle Chris. Fascinating individual. Yeah, absolutely. And they do something called OMM treatment there
at COMC will tell you all about that. That's cool.
That, and of course, Happy Hour, DJ Kyle, 3 times a day, new shows every single Thursday, and Weekend at the Lake with David Leatherbury, brought to you by Millstone Marina and RV Resort. Catch that every Thursday through Sunday, and until next week, my friends, goodbye and God bless.